Before the world labeled you, before any mistake defined you, before time tried to disqualify you, God chose you. That's not poetic fluff. That's divine reality. You are not walking through this life by accident. You are not a product of chance. You are marked. You are known. You are chosen. This is where the story begins, not with your circumstances, but with your calling. When God selects someone, He doesn't consult public opinion. He doesn't need consensus. He doesn't ask if others agree. He decides, He ordains, and He moves with purpose. And now He's whispering into your soul, you are mine. Even if your past is messy, even if your present is uncertain, His choice stands. Let's go back to the word. John 15:16. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. Let that sink in. He didn't just choose you to survive. He chose you to bear lasting fruit, impact, legacy, evidence. Chosen ones often live lives that feel misunderstood. That's part of the calling. People won't always get it, because the assignment on your life is invisible to those who haven't heard heaven's whispers. You may walk through rooms and feel out of place, not because you're wrong, but because you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to stand out at the appointed time. There's a spiritual blueprint with your name on it, and God didn't draft it last minute. Ephesians 1:4 says, For He chose us in Him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in His sight. Before the mountains, before the oceans, before sin entered the world, and He saw you, and He chose you. So why does it feel like you're waiting so long? Why do chosen people often feel forgotten? Because God hides what He values. Like a jeweler protecting a rare gem, He conceals His treasure not to punish, but to prepare. You haven't been left behind. You've been set apart. Think of David, anointed king in a private ceremony, but still sent back to tend sheep. Not because he wasn't chosen, but because preparation always follows calling. There's a gap between the oil and the crown, a season where God develops the inner man to match the weight of the outer assignment. That's where you are now. Maybe people around you can't see it. Maybe you can't even explain it, but something inside you knows. You don't fit into average. You don't settle easily. You can't fake small talk about small dreams. Why? Because something eternal is calling you higher, and heaven won't let you stay comfortable. Chosen ones often experience spiritual tension. You feel pulled between what is and what could be, between now and next. It's not a sign you're lost, it's confirmation you're being led. The weight you feel isn't punishment. It's purpose trying to be born, and birthing always comes with pressure. You were not made to be background noise. You are a voice, a shift, a move of God wrapped in flesh. And this generation needs what's in you. You carry a solution to a problem the world hasn't even identified yet. That's why the enemy fights your identity, because if he can confuse who you are, he can delay what you carry. But here's the truth that breaks that lie, Romans 11:29. For God's gifts and His call are irrevocable, meaning you can't mess it up beyond redemption. The call still stands. The choice still remains. The purpose still breathes. Even in your weakness, even in your wandering, God's hand is on you. Let me say it boldly. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not unqualified. You're becoming. Every trial has been part of the training. Every no was making room for the right yes. Every delay has been divine protection. And now you're approaching the tipping point. Don't let comparison lie to you. What God is doing in you can't be measured by what's happening around you. Others may seem ahead, but what's coming for you won't be small, rushed, or forgettable. When it comes, it will be unmistakable, and people will say, that had to be God. Here's your reminder: identity before activity. Don't chase influence before you understand inheritance. You are not what you do, you are who he says you are. And he says, you are mine. You are chosen, you are loved. Breathe that in. Let it saturate your soul before anything else happens in your story. This truth must anchor you. You were chosen. That's the foundation. And from here, everything shifts. Something is moving in the unseen, a divine tremor. Subtle at first, then suddenly undeniable. When God decides to shake your life, it's never random. It's never cruel. It's always intentional. His shaking is the disruption that births transformation. And for the chosen ones, the shaking has already begun. You may have felt it, the discomfort in places that once felt familiar, the unease in patterns that once made sense, the strange stirring that whispers this season is closing. That's not anxiety. That's alignment. God shakes foundations not to break you, but to wake you. You've been living on what was, but he's calling you into what will be. Let's be clear, when heaven shakes something, logic bows, control collapses, human timing fails, and still, his will prevails. Hebrews 12:27 tells us, the words once more indicate the removing of what can be shaken, that is, created things, so that what cannot be shaken may remain. That verse is your confirmation. God's not trying to ruin you. He's trying to reveal what's real in you. Many of us ask for revival, for newness, for breakthrough, but we forget before resurrection came the earthquake. Before the veil was torn, the ground shook. God often signals a shift by disturbing comfort zones. If you feel like everything around you is changing, don't panic. You're not falling apart. You're being realigned. The shaking is strategic. It removes the counterfeit so the authentic can surface. It shakes off what no longer fits the future version of you. Friends who leave assignments that dry up. Doors that cling to. Don't mourn them too long. If it couldn't endure the shaking, it wasn't meant to be carried into the next season. Ask Joseph. He didn't plan for his life to unravel, first betrayed, then enslaved, then imprisoned. But each shake moved him closer to the palace. Had he stayed in the comfort of his father's house, he'd never have fulfilled the vision God gave him. The pit didn't cancel the dream, it triggered it. This is how God works with his chosen. He interrupts your plans to initiate his purpose. He removes scaffolding to prove the structure. And when the dust settles, what remains is unshakable, unstoppable, and undeniably divine. You may be asking, why now? Why so suddenly? Because God has waited long enough. He has seen the sacrifice you've made in secret. He's watched you stay faithful when no one was clapping. And now, he's stirring everything around you because it's time. Time for the next dimension. Time for the greater glory. Time for the fulfillment of the promises he whispered in the dark. And to enter that, everything not rooted in him must shake loose. That includes fear. That includes pride. That includes your timeline. God's shaking will humble you, but it won't humiliate you. It will strip you, but not destroy you. It will confuse those around you, but it will clarify your purpose. And once the shaking completes its work, you won't return to normal. You'll step into supernatural. Isaiah 64:1 cries, "Oh, that you would rend the heavens and come down, that the mountains would tremble before you." This is not a quiet visitation. This is heaven breaking in. Mountains tremble. Pride crumbles. Delay collapses. Because when God comes down, nothing stays the same. You're in the middle of a holy disturbance. It may feel chaotic, but it's birthing clarity. You may feel displaced, but you're being positioned. What felt like a breakdown is actually a breakthrough in disguise. Let God finish the work. Don't resist the shaking, respond to it. This is the moment to surrender, not out of defeat, but out of expectation. Say, Lord, shake whatever you must, but let me come out of this purified, stronger, and closer to you. That's the prayer of the chosen. Not make it easy, but make it holy. God is not afraid of your disorder. He brings beauty from ashes. He speaks peace into storm, and He's about to speak into your storm. The shaking is not the end, it's the beginning of a glory story. You'll look back on this moment and say, that's when everything changed. It won't be a change that makes sense to others. That's the point. This won't be explainable. It will be evidence. People will ask, how did they come out of that? And all you'll be able to say is, God shook me free. Let the shaking come. Let it ruin the routine. Let it disturb the dead places. Because in the ruins, God will build something that lasts, something that stands, something no storm can shake again. You were not created for the comfortable. You were created for the called. You were not built to settle. You were built to carry glory. And glory doesn't grow in still water. It rises after the waves crash, after the ground moves, after the systems fall. So praise Him in the tremble. Worship Him in the shift. Because what He's shaking loose is nothing compared to what He's shaking into your life. He's not just removing. He's replacing, not just shaking, but shaping. What's coming will make the shaking worth it. Before God reveals, He refines. Before the promise is paraded, the vessel is prepared, and that preparation often comes in the form of obscurity, the hidden season. A time when no spotlight shines, no applause echoes, and no affirmation seems to come. Yet in heaven's eyes, this is the most sacred ground you'll ever walk on. It's where warriors are made. It's where roots grow deep. And it's where God trains the chosen for the glory they're called to carry. Don't mistake silence for absence. Just because God is quiet doesn't mean He's not working. In fact, some of His loudest moves come during His quietest seasons. He's developing your character while the world thinks you're being overlooked. But heaven knows. Heaven sees. Heaven is recording every seed sown in secret. Look at Moses. 40 years in the wilderness, tending sheep forgotten by men, but not by God. That wilderness wasn't punishment. It was preparation. God was training his ears to hear, his hands to serve, and his heart to submit. When the burning bush moment came, it wasn't sudden to heaven. It was scheduled. God doesn't send the untrained into battle, and you, chosen one, are in training. You may feel like everything is moving for others while your life stands still. You watch doors open for people who don't pray like you, don't sacrifice like you, and don't carry what you carry. And it hurts. But hear this, you are not behind. You are in the workshop of the Master Builder. He is crafting you carefully because what He's preparing you for is costly, weighty, and eternal. Private preparation always precedes public promotion. Think of David, anointed in secret, assigned to the sheep. While his brothers trained for war, David learned the rhythm of God in the fields. No one saw him kill the lion. No one clapped when he struck the bear. But those private victories positioned him for a public triumph over Goliath. If David had despised the field, he would have never reached the throne. Your field matters. Your quiet obedience matters. Your late-night tears. Your hidden sacrifices. Your anonymous faithfulness, they all matter. Don't rush out of the shadows, Don't crave the stage before the roots are deep. Fruit that grows too fast spoils quickly, but fruit that matures in time, it lasts. It multiplies. God is not interested in momentary hype. He's interested in legacy. He's not building an Instagram miracle. He's building eternal impact, and eternal things take time. Look at Jesus, 30 years of quiet, 3 years of ministry, eternity of impact. Even the Son of God submitted to hiddenness. Isaiah 49:2 declares, "He made my mouth like a sharpened sword. In the shadow of his hand he hid me. He made me into a polished arrow and concealed me in his quiver." You are the arrow. The hiding is not rejection, it's precision. God pulls back before he launches forward. The deeper the draw, the greater the distance. This is not the season to compare. This is the season to become. Become anchored. Become whole. Become sharp. Because when your moment comes, it won't be time to rehearse. It will be time to release. And the only way you'll be ready is if you've allowed the secret place to shape you. There's treasure in this obscurity. You're learning to hear God without the noise. You're learning to serve without recognition. You're learning to worship when there's no reward. And these lessons will carry you when visibility comes. If you skip the secret place, you'll crumble in the public one. But if you embrace it, you'll stand when others fall. Joseph's years in the prison weren't wasted. They were necessary. His ability to govern Egypt was forged in the furnace of delay. Had he risen too soon, he would have led with pride, not wisdom. But by the time Pharaoh called him, he was ready not just to interpret dreams, but to steward nations. That's what God is building in you. Stop trying to escape this part of the process. Sit in it. Let it do its work. Let patience finish its perfect task. James 1:4 says, "Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." That's God's goal: maturity, completion, fullness. You're not being punished. You're being polished. You're not forgotten. You're being fortified. This hidden season is heaven's classroom, and the curriculum: trust, integrity, discernment, servanthood, endurance. These aren't optional electives, they're essential tools for your destiny. One day soon, the doors will open, the stage will come, the platform will rise. But you will not be shaken because you didn't skip the secret place. You didn't shortcut the shadow. You let God shape you when no one was watching. So now he can trust you when everyone is. Lift your eyes. You're not buried. You're planted. And your roots are reaching deep into living water. Soon the fruit will come and it will be undeniable. But for now, honor the process. Welcome the hiddenness. Because this season is heaven's gift, and it's building someone the world can't ignore when God says, "Now." There comes a moment in the life of every chosen one when the promise is no longer just a prophecy whispered in private, but a reality breaking forth in the open. This moment when God's promise aligns with his timing is not subtle. It's not delayed. It's divinely explosive. You may have carried the word for years. You may have cried over it, warred for it, almost given up on it. But now, the promise is approaching fulfillment, and heaven's timing is about to make everything make sense. God never forgets a word he speaks. Numbers 23:19 reminds us, God is not human, that he should lie, not a human being, that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? His yes is yes. His timeline is not subject to pressure. It's governed by perfection. The space between promise and manifestation can feel endless because it's not just about what God is doing for you, but what he's doing in you. In that gap, he's refining motives, strengthening character, and teaching trust. But make no mistake, when the time arrives, nothing can stop it. No demon, no delay, no denial. God's timing is a force no opposition can restrain. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It hastens toward the goal, and it will not fail. Though it tarries, wait for it will certainly come. It will not delay. It may feel like it's taking forever, but the truth is, it's rushing toward you faster than you realize." Heaven isn't just preparing the promise, it's preparing you for it. Ask Abraham. God gave him a promise of a son, a legacy, a nation. But the fulfillment didn't arrive in the first year. It took decades. And even when hope began to fade, God remained faithful. When Isaac finally came, it wasn't just a son, it was the physical manifestation of covenant. When God fulfills a promise, it's always more than what you asked for. Some of you reading this are standing at the edge of fulfillment. You can feel the pressure of transition. Doors are creaking open. Old things are crumbling. New things are whispering. That's what it feels like when promise meets timing. It gets loud in the spirit. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because everything is aligning. But here's the challenge: many give up right before the breakthrough. The warfare intensifies, the silence grows, the doubts scream louder, and the temptation to settle shows up looking like relief. But hear this: hold the line. If you give up now, you'll never see what God has been orchestrating behind the scenes. There is a fullness of time in the kingdom. Galatians chapter 4:4 speaks of Jesus' arrival with this phrase: "But when the set time had fully come, God sent his Son." Notice, not early, not late, fully come. That's how heaven works. And when your fullness comes, nothing can stand against it. Your prayers haven't expired. Your tears haven't been wasted. God is a perfect steward. He counts every moment, every sacrifice, every seed. And when his appointed moment arrives, he gathers it all and releases a blessing that overflows. It may look sudden to others, but it's been in the works for years. You're not stepping into luck, you're stepping into fulfillment. That's what makes the timing of God so powerful. It reveals why the delay was necessary. You'll look back and see why certain doors didn't open, why some relationships didn't last, why the process took longer than expected. You'll realize you weren't being punished. You were being perfected. This is also why comparison is so dangerous in the waiting. Someone else's timing isn't your measuring stick. What God releases for them has nothing to do with what he's preparing for you. If you measure your life by someone else's season, you'll grow bitter in the season meant to build you. Stay faithful. Stay focused. Your hour is coming, and when it comes, it will come fast. Isaiah 60:22 says, "When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen swiftly." This is the divine acceleration that follows divine alignment. The waiting will seem long until suddenly everything shifts. What was closed will open. What was impossible will manifest. What you thought would take years will happen in days. This is why it's so important to be ready, not just externally, but internally. Character must match calling. Humility must accompany influence. Integrity must sustain visibility, because the blessing will be public, but the foundation must be private. What God is about to do through you will be too weighty for shallow roots. So how do you posture yourself while you wait? You worship, you serve, you listen, you obey, you remain faithful in small things, because the day the promise arrives, it won't knock. It will appear like a flood, like a wind, like a trumpet blast that shifts everything in an instant. Do not fear the shift. Do not resist the change. The promise is real. The time is now, and heaven is moving toward you like a tidal wave. Let this sink deep into your soul. The promise and the timing are colliding, and when they do, your life will never be the same again. What you only dared to believe in prayer, you will soon hold in your hands, and everyone around you will know God kept his word. When God decides it's your time, he doesn't ask for a second opinion. He doesn't call a committee. He doesn't wait for everyone around you to approve or applaud. Heaven's shift comes like a wave, And when it moves, it overrides every obstacle that once stood in your way. The shift that's coming to your life won't ask if you're ready. It will make you ready. It won't knock politely. It will burst through, unstoppable and undeniable. You've been positioned, prepared, pressed, and now you're about to be promoted. But here's the truth: many overlook God's promotion rarely follows man's protocol. It won't always make sense on a resume. It won't always line up with the natural sequence of events. But when God says now, the supernatural bypasses the natural. Divine favor ignores human limitations. 1 Samuel 2:8 declares, "He raises the poor from the dust and lifts the needy from the ash heap. He seats them with princes and has them inherit a throne of honor." That's not poetry, Bobo. That's prophecy. He's about to seat you in places people said you'd never reach, not because of your connections, but because of his covenant. Let's look again at Joseph. When Pharaoh summoned him from prison, Joseph had no time to build a case, network, or prove himself. He interpreted the dream, and within hours, he went from prisoner to prime minister. That's what happens when God decides to move. There's no need for campaigning. Heaven declares, and the earth must adjust. God is about to shift you in such a way that people who once overlooked you won't even recognize you. They'll say, "Is this the same person?" Not because you changed your look, but because the glory on you will be different. The favor will rest on you. The doors will open for you, and you won't have to beg or barter for any of it. When God shifts you, it exposes the limits others placed on you, the small boxes, the false assumptions, the silent dismissals. All of it gets obliterated when heaven elevates. You'll walk into rooms that were once closed to you, not because of who you know, but because of who knows you, and heaven knows your name. But here's the warning: not everyone will celebrate the shift. Some will question it. Some will resent it. Some will try to explain it away. But let them talk. Your job is not to convince anyone. Your job is to walk in it. Jesus himself said in Luke chapter 4:24, "No prophet is accepted in his hometown." If the Son of God faced rejection during his elevation, don't be surprised when you do too. The shift is not personal. It's purposeful. God is moving you not just for your benefit, but for his agenda. There are people you're called to reach, spaces you're called to occupy, territories you're called to transform, and staying stuck in what's familiar would rob them of the light you carry. That's why he's shifting you, not just for you, but for them. Don't be afraid to leave the familiar behind. Abraham had to leave his land, his relatives, and everything comfortable to step into the promise. Hebrews 11:8 reminds us, "By faith Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going." That's faith. And that's the kind of faith this shift will demand from you. You may not know every detail. You may not see how it will all work. But when God shifts, he supplies. When he calls, he covers. When he moves, he makes a way. So let go of needing every answer. Obedience is the doorway to revelation. As you move, clarity will follow. Some of the people who didn't choose you were necessary for your training. Their rejection refined you. Their doubt sharpened you. But they're not your ceiling. God is, and his ceiling is limitless. So don't carry the old stories into the new season. Let go of the need to explain yourself. Let the results speak. This shift will be loud, it will be fast, it will be final, and it will not be reversible. What God is about to do, no one can undo. Isaiah 43:13 says, "When I act, Who can reverse it? The promotion will be permanent. The blessing will be bold. The favor will be firmly established. But here's what you must do. Stay low. Stay humble. Stay hidden in God. The spotlight of man cannot sustain what only the secret place can develop. Let your private posture be the foundation of your public rise. This isn't your moment to shine. It's your moment to reflect Him. There's a temptation to feel intimidated when the shift comes. Imposter syndrome whispers, "Are you really ready for this?" But hear this: if God opened the door, you're ready. If He called you, He equipped you. If He elevated you, He'll sustain you. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing. Walk boldly. This isn't ego, it's assignment. God didn't bring you this far to abandon you. He's not elevating you to expose you. He's showcasing what He's built in the dark. He's revealing what He's refined in the wilderness. And the world is about to witness it, not because you fought for it, but because you waited for it. The shift won't wait for permission. And neither should you. The time is now. The move is now. The favor is now. Get up. Step forward, embrace the shift. You were born for this. The breakthrough that's coming, the elevation, the visibility, the supernatural increase. It's not just for your comfort. It's for calling. It's for purpose. And most importantly, it's for people. Because when God blesses His chosen ones, it's never meant to terminate on them. The blessing must flow through you, not just to you. Your testimony isn't a trophy, it's a tool, a message, a living letter to a generation that desperately needs hope. This is why your story matters, why your scars matter, why your process matters. You're not just surviving life, you're becoming a sign. You are evidence that God still moves, still speaks, still lifts the lowly and crowns the humble. And others are watching, listening, wondering if the God you believe in is real. Your life may be the only sermon they're willing to hear. 2 Corinthians chapter 3:2 says, "You yourselves are our letter, written on our hearts, known and read by everyone." Read that again: known and read by everyone. Whether you realize it or not, people are watching you. Your consistency, your responses, your endurance in trial, your humility in favor, and the way you rise after falling. All of it is speaking loudly. Some blessings are meant to be seen, not to elevate your ego, but to awaken faith in others. There are people who stopped believing in miracles until they watched God move in your life. There are people who gave up on prayer until they witnessed that your breakthrough was birthed through quiet intercession. Your journey is someone else's blueprint. Your process is their prophecy. This is why God won't allow you to fade into the background. You weren't made for isolation, you were made to reflect glory. Matthew 5:14-16 says, "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Not glorify you, glorify Him. Let that sink in. Your life is about to become a stage where God displays His power. And it will spark faith in places that felt spiritually dead. This is the kingdom ripple effect. God touches one life and that life touches 10 more. The miracle multiplies, not just in size, but in reach. Think of the woman at the well in John chapter 4. One encounter with Jesus changed her. But she didn't keep it quiet. She ran to the town and said, "Come, see a man who told me everything I ever did." That one moment led to an entire village encountering Christ. Your story can do the same. Your encounter can ripple across cities, families, and generations if you're willing to share it. Don't wait until the story feels finished. Share as you go. Share through the struggle. Share through the questions. Because people don't just need your victory, they need your vulnerability. They need to know that chosen ones cry too, that the faithful sometimes feel forgotten, that purpose isn't always pretty, but God is always present. The enemy wants to convince you that your journey is insignificant, that your story isn't powerful enough to help anyone, that your voice doesn't matter. But those are lies. Revelation 12:11 says, "They triumphed over him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Your testimony is warfare. When you speak of what God has done, demons tremble and chains break. You might say, "But I'm still in the process." So was everyone God ever used. Noah was building while being mocked. Moses was leading while being doubted. Esther was fasting while being terrified. David was running from Saul even after being anointed. Process doesn't disqualify you, it authenticates you. You don't have to wait to be perfect. You just have to be willing. And here's the beautiful part: as God blesses you publicly, He will also give you the wisdom and humility to use that blessing as a bridge, not a barrier. Influence is a tool, not a throne. Your new platform is not for applause, it's for assignment. When God raises you up, He also gives you a responsibility to point others to Him. Don't forget what it felt like when you were in the dark, when you were the one praying for a sign, when you were the one doubting your worth. Because soon, you'll be the sign. You'll be the confirmation someone else has been pleading for. Your yes will become someone else's open door. And that's how kingdom impact works. God is about to position you in places no preacher can stand: boardrooms, hospitals, universities, neighborhoods, digital spaces, and your life will be the message. Not a perfect life, but a redeemed one, a restored one, a risen one. Just like Daniel in Babylon, just like Joseph in Egypt, just like you, right where you are. Don't be surprised when people start asking you for advice, when they come seeking prayer, when they say, "There's something different about you." That's the Holy Spirit shining through. That's the favor of God drawing them in. Don't shrink back from it. Lean into it. Be ready in season and out of season. Because this influence isn't about spotlight, it's about souls. If God is trusting you with visibility, it's because He can trust you with His voice. Speak as He leads. Love as He loved. Move as He moved. Be the vessel He'll bring the oil. And above all, remember this: the story is not yours alone. It belongs to every person who's going to find hope in it, every soul that's going to believe again, every life that's going to turn back to the Father because they saw what He did in you. This journey, this blessing, this favor, this shift, it's not just for you, it's for them. When God begins to shift and showcase His chosen ones, the movement can feel like a whirlwind. Suddenly, what was still starts shifting. What was closed swings open. What was invisible becomes public. And while the outside world sees the rise, the internal world can feel fragile. That's why now, more than ever, you need a steady heart. Because in the middle of acceleration, the greatest test won't be the open doors. It'll be how you carry yourself as they open. Favor brings weight. Visibility brings pressure. And promotion exposes whatever was lurking beneath the surface. That's why before God pours out through you, He always secures within you. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Not your talents, not your titles, your heart. That's the wellspring of destiny, and it's the root system that sustains the fruit. And when you're elevated, the condition of your heart will either multiply the blessing or sabotage it. Let's be real, not everyone will clap when God blesses you. Some will smile publicly but wrestle with resentment privately. Some will question why you, why now, why that much. And the temptation will be to either shrink back to keep peace or rise up with pride to prove a point. Both are traps. The antidote is humility. James 4:10 reminds us, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will lift you up." The same God who elevates sustains. Your job is not to defend your favor. It's to reflect his nature. Stay low in spirit, even when the platform rises. Stay teachable, even when others seek your wisdom. Stay grateful, even when influence becomes normal. The quickest way to forfeit what God is doing is to let pride poison it. Pride whispers, "This is because of you." Humility declares, "This is only because of God." Pride tries to control the outcome. Humility surrenders to his process. Pride demands attention. Humility gives glory. And in this next season, humility will be your shield. You'll also need discernment. Not every opportunity is from God. Not every open door leads to destiny. Some are distractions disguised as upgrades. Some are shortcuts sent to compromise your integrity. That's why your heart must be steady so you can hear clearly. Choose wisely, and obey fully. One of the greatest marks of maturity is the ability to say no to good things that aren't God things. As favor increases, so will options soon. Invitations will come, recognition will rise, but never let noise override the whisper of God. Stay close to his voice. Stay rooted in the word. Stay accountable to wise counsel. Elevation doesn't erase your need for submission, it deepens it. And in the midst of all this movement, keep serving. Don't lose your servant's heart. Joseph ruled Egypt, but he never stopped stewarding. Jesus washed feet even as he carried glory. Influence in the kingdom always looks like servanthood. The higher you go, the lower you bow. Let your consistency be louder than your platform. Let your kindness be stronger than your status. Let your love be deeper than your influence. Because at the end of the day, people may admire your gifts, but it's your heart that will mark them. It's your heart that God will continue to reward. Galatians 6:9 says, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Harvest season is glorious, but it can also be exhausting. Don't lose yourself in the momentum. Don't lose your soul chasing fruit. Stay rooted. Stay rested. Stay refreshed in the presence of God. And remember this, the enemy doesn't attack empty vessels. The moment you step into assignment, resistance will increase. There will be whispers of unworthiness, accusations from your past, unexpected delays, emotional fatigue. That's why your inner world must be guarded. Psalm 112:7 describes the kind of heart God is building in you. They will have no fear of bad news. Their hearts are steadfast, trusting in the Lord, a steadfast heart, not easily shaken, not moved by applause or attack, just anchored. Deep in trust, steady in obedience. This kind of heart isn't built overnight, it's forged in fire, in the quiet yeses, in the secret tears, in the lonely places where no one sees but God. That's where your strength comes from. That's where your confidence is born, not in what you do, but in who you belong to. As the blessing begins to unfold, don't chase clarity more than you chase Christ. Don't seek control more than you seek surrender. The movement is not random, it's designed. Every step has been ordained. Every open door has been timed. But how you carry your heart through it all will determine how long you sustain what He's giving you. You're about to live in answered prayers, but answered prayers come with new responsibility. Stay steady, stay centered, stay humble. Keep your worship louder than your worries. Keep your focus sharper than your fears. And when the noise gets loud, when expectations rise, retreat into the secret place. That's your anchor. That's your lifeline. That's the well that will never run dry. God is not just elevating your position. He's strengthening your posture. Because it's not the elevation that proves you're chosen. It's the way you walk through it with a pure heart. Now comes the moment where everything shifts, where the promises long held in your spirit begin to take shape in your reality. It won't be a whisper. It won't be a gentle nudge. It will be a divine explosion, unmistakable and awe-inspiring. God is not about to do something small or safe in your life. He's about to do something so beyond reason, so out of proportion, so miraculous, that it will blow your mind. Ephesians 3:20 lays it out plainly. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. More than you asked for, more than you dreamed, more than you thought possible. That's the kind of God we serve, one who exceeds, not just meets expectations. You thought the blessing would look like one answered prayer, but what's coming is an overflow. You prayed for provision. God is releasing promotion. You prayed for restoration. God is breathing resurrection. You asked for enough, and he's giving you more than enough. Not because you earned it, but because he delights in showing his glory through you. This move won't just benefit you, it will transform you. People won't just notice the blessing, they'll notice the shift in your spirit, the light in your eyes, the boldness in your walk, the fire in your words. They'll say, something happened to them. And they'll be right, because God happened to you. And once he moves like this, nothing, absolutely nothing, stays the same. This is why you had to wait. This is why the delay was necessary. God wasn't withholding, he was staging something greater. If he had given you what you wanted too soon, you would have settled for a fraction of what was coming. But because you endured the silence, because you trusted through the testing, you're now ready to receive the full measure. You're stepping into a season where logic will be dunst, where natural explanations will fall short, where people will have no choice but to say, that was God. The turnaround will be so swift, so radical, that even your past will feel like a different life. You'll go to bed burdened and wake up blessed. You'll enter one room overlooked and exit elevated. Isaiah 48:3 says, I foretold the former things long ago. My mouth announced them and I made them known. Then suddenly I acted, and they came to pass. That's the God we serve, a God of suddenlies. What once crawled will now accelerate. What was stuck will now move. What was lost will now be restored. And when it happens, it won't be quiet. It won't be subtle. It will provoke wonder. It will spark questions. It will open conversations about the God who still does the impossible. Because he's not just blessing you for your benefit. He's making you a witness, a living, breathing, undeniable witness that God still reigns. You'll walk into spaces you never applied for, be offered roles you never sought, be invited to tables that once ignored you, not because of who you know, but because of who knows you. Heaven is endorsing you, and heaven's endorsement overrides every rejection from man. This is the kind of blessing that reaches backward and redeems time. The years you lost to confusion redeemed. The tears you cried in silence repaid. The dreams you buried in fear revived. The relationships that broke you rewritten with purpose. God never wastes pain. He transforms it into power. And still, this isn't just about elevation. It's about mission. Like Daniel in Babylon, like Esther in the palace, like Joseph in Egypt. You are being placed in high places not just to enjoy them, but to influence them. Your voice will carry weight. Your presence will carry authority. And your obedience will carry legacy. So stand ready. This isn't the time to shrink. This is the time to expand. Enlarge your vision. Stretch your faith. Make room for the miraculous. Because what's coming is not common. It's not casual. It's heaven-sized. You are about to walk in rooms where your name has been discussed by angels. Sit at tables prepared before you were born. Move in power that generations prayed for, and live a life that becomes a landmark of God's faithfulness. No one will be able to explain it, but no one will be able to deny it. This is not hype, it's heaven's agenda, and you chosen one are the vessel. Now, inhale this moment, breathe it in. Let your spirit align with the truth God is about to blow your mind, not someday, not years from now. Now, this is the fulfillment, the emergence, the manifestation, and it's been written since the foundation of the world. What you're about to see, hear, and experience will be the culmination of every prayer, every promise, every prophetic whisper. It will be louder than you imagined, greater than you prepared for, and holier than you hoped for. You are not stepping into blessing, you are stepping into destiny. God's glory is about to burst through your life in undeniable, uncontainable, and unstoppable ways. And when it does, all creation will echo the same refrain, "This was the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes." Psalm 118:23. Welcome to the season where logic ends and wonder begins.